All right, guys, it is time to start getting our electrical ready. First off, I am not an electrician. Disclaimer, I've had some electrical experience before, nothing too crazy, but this is a pretty basic circuit. All we're doing is adding plugs, and basically you're just chaining them down the line, and there's nothing complicated about it. So let's get started. So if you guys would, if this helped you out at all, drop down below, hit that like and subscribe button if you aren't already. Make sure you guys look up online whether you're allowed to wire your own stuff. Some states do not like that, and there are some restrictions if you have like tenants or whatnot. So just make sure you look that online. This is New Hampshire. I live in the house. I'm allowed to wire it, so that's why we did it. And I feel comfortable with it. But if you don't feel comfortable, just call an electrician. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna add 2 sockets here. We're gonna add 2 over here, and then 1 over here for this extra workbench over here. We've been running off an extension cord, which is not good, but it's about time we get this done. One thing we have to consider here is this beam or this post for the supports of the house in the middle of the basement. This wall is not flush with it, so what we're gonna do is put a 2x4, and that should get us the gap to get out away from that pole. That way our whole pegboard is going to be flush and even all the way down. I just have some leftover scrap from when we made this bench, so we're going to optimize our wood, and we're going to put the supports with these. I could just use one board all the way across, but this should do the trick. So we just marked out my locations of where I'm going to put the boxes, the gangs, total of 6, and then we're going to go up around this corner because it's a pretty tight corner right there. So we're gonna go all the way up to the top cap and then come all the way over and then back down through. Just cut this open with your utility knife, and then up here where the wire is gonna come from, or from the circuit, it's just all right there, and then it's gonna go through here, the header, and then down through. All right, guys, so I just got my spacing done to clear those poles. This is also gonna have a lot more ease in mounting horizontal screws and supports for the pegboard, instead of just trying to hit studs and you missing them. This will be, if you know your height, it's gonna be pretty hard to miss. So that'll be another good bonus to that. Yeah, so these are 1/2-inch spacers, and then it comes with the washer and the screw to secure your board onto your wall. This is gonna make it a lot easier, and if we didn't use this kit, then basically you couldn't put any hooks in where these 2x4s are. But since we're having the space, that gap, everything will be able to slide in, even if it's on a support or not on a support. And this is really the benefit. If you just mount the pegboard directly to this, you're wasting quite a bit of room right there. So go down to the link in the description, use our affiliate link. It helps us out a little bit. It doesn't cost you any extra. One other thing to consider is, since we're moving the base of the wall out from the studs, our gang boxes, the spacing is not going to be correct, so we're going to have to cut 2x4s and kind of make an extension to bring the gang box out. Your pegboard is also not as thick as drywall, so make sure you're accounting for that when you're installing this. All right, so this is a little bit different than normal. What I did, I went ahead and threw up our gang on this spacer, which we're gonna use to get it out to meet up with the pegboard. This is a little bit bigger, and then I just put the 1.5 inches. So we'll match it up with the edge of the stud, mount it up, pre-put the screws in, so it should be a lot easier to get it in there. Let's get this thing done. I'm gonna go through and wire all from each gang to gang backwards. We're not gonna connect anything until the whole thing is ready to be hooked up to power. So we're just gonna we're gonna start from the back and continue the circuit all the way to the beginning on where we wanna send it to the circuit breaker. And then we will start stripping everything as they're in the boxes. Of course, hooking it up is the last step. So you don't have to worry about this. You're working on a deadline. Just make sure when you're going gang to gang, you're giving at least 3 inches of extra wire protruding from the box. It gives you working room. It can be very dangerous if you do not have enough wire. We're just gonna be using this Romex 12-2, 100 feet, so it should be plenty for this project here. It's come from the circuit breaker over there through the supports in the floor, and it's going to come down through the head over here and down, and then to this first junction where we're going to start. So this is kind of a tricky spot right here. So I'm just going to nix that for now. We'll wire it through the easy part, and then we'll pull the extra down through there. We just got it all the way wired to the circuit breaker, and now we're gonna come back, feed it through the header there, and then down to our first circuit. So this is a little bit long here, but I wanna like maximize our use of this wire, so I'm gonna feed this whole long piece through here. Should have probably straightened this out before feeding it through. All right, so at the end of the circuit, super simple. I already put it in there, kind of got ahead of myself, but you would just go black to brass, white to silver, or whatever regular color, and then obviously your ground to the green there. Super simple, most basic connection possible. For the wires where it's continuing on to another plug, we have some prep to do. Just going probably 2 to 3 inches down. Strip it like that. Pull the paper off. Okay, you can unwrap ground. And then you're gonna want to, you can use just a regular plier for this, or you can get a wire stripper with the correct gauge. And we're gonna go about 1/2 inch stripping on each wire. All right. Now, that's gonna be perfect for this because we're gonna use some push-in wire connectors, and we're gonna go down the line and you're gonna do this to every single one. So since we were connecting these in parallel, we're gonna go and use about a 4-inch piece here. You're just gonna strip your wire and make these. We need about a 1/2 inch for the 4-prong connectors. You're gonna use just a plier to twist a loop in here, okay? And now, since you have your black to your brass, you're always gonna go left to right, clockwise, with the screw. You're gonna use the screw, it's gonna tighten on this. If it was the opposite way, you have a chance of it loosening. This is the correct way to do it, with the way the screw is tightening on it. So this is a completed one, and we'll go ahead and do another one. And we're just using them on the bottom, just to keep it consistent. Just using a simple little screwdriver. Make sure this is tight. This is key. You do not want loose wires. There we go. And when you do strip these, this is not going to be enough to make a loop to go around the screw. You need to go quite a bit ways more to have a good solid connection with the entire screw. All right, so these connectors are pretty sweet. They should save us a little bit of time. Just when you put them in there, make sure the wire goes all the way to the bottom. That's the direction, so you gotta follow it. Let's get going. So what you're gonna do here is you're gonna plug in the 3 of each color into one of the connectors. And what that's gonna do is let the circuit travel through the connector, continuing on to the next plug, as well as supply power to that plug, instead of having a circuit where it all goes through each plug. So this will separate your load onto each plug. together. It might be easier. Look, I think I have a little bit too much wire right here, but we'll roll with it. One other thing to consider about wiring this, as you can see here, I was kind of tight on space. I think I had a little bit too much wire hanging out and giving me too much extra, and that really caused a lot of pressure, or it was pretty cramped when putting it into the gang box. So just consider that. Maybe use a little bit less electrical wire inside the box or when you're wiring it, and then basically the gang boxes, you could buy a bigger one. I didn't buy the biggest one. I don't think it would have hurt to buy one that's 10 cents more and give you a little bit extra room if you have it. Sometimes you are installing on a thin or like minimal wall, not like a regular 2x4. So that's one thing to consider. But if you have the room, just swing it, get some extra room. All right, so I just hooked it up to the circuit breaker. I'm not gonna show you how to do that, but we'll just go back and we have our tester, and you can see everything's good. So we're all set. Everything is nice and tight, wired up good. We have a little bit of excess, which you could always, rewire if you're unsatisfied with that. This is gonna be covered by pegboard, so I'm not too concerned about it. All right, guys, so that is it. We have completed our new outlets in our workshop. This is gonna be way better. We won't be surging off of an extension cord, which is not great. We just did it because we had to, but we got this done now. So if you guys would, if this helped you out at all, drop down below, hit that like and subscribe button if you aren't already. I really appreciate you guys supporting our channel as we grow our homestead. We provide 2 videos a week. Make sure you hit the bell notifications, that way you're notified when a new one comes out. Thank you guys.